Hey guys, it's Tegan Andrews with Worldwide Golf. Today we're trying out the Apex AI 200, 300, and Tie Fusion. Let's give these a whirl.
All right, so let's start off with hitting what you'd be used to playing, something like our CB iron.
Perfect.
Typical tour iron. It's got 34 degrees of loft on it. That's kind of the setup you've been playing. Standard lie on an X100.
Good.
Fire off a few towards that yellow flag. You're obviously way above average speed hitting it as far as you do, 103, 104 with the 7 iron.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have a little bit of fun here. These are kind of in a different category. The 300's the wide sole, more offset, pretty big, super forgiving club. What I'm used to seeing out of clubs like this, or out of this club in particular thus far, is it's like the least likely to slice for someone that is a slicer.
Nice. Yeah.
It's the strongest loft, the widest sole. I wouldn't imagine you're going to be working the ball too much with that one, but it'd be fun to see how much farther this thing goes.
How much straighter and farther we can get it.
You're averaging a couple numbers to compare here. Ball speed, tremendous amount of ball speed, 136, 37, 7,400 spin. Pretty good numbers out of your tour flighted 7 iron there. And again, those were about 190 in the air.
Cool.
So
a little breeze into us as well. That was so nooped.
You can see that one you're not getting that little nice fade that you get with your typical irons.
Yeah.
That would be expected out of the wide sole, big offset.
Yeah, it definitely moves through the turf differently than I'm used to.
You're hitting a nice little fade with your tour iron, and this one's virtually not curving at all.
Very nice.
To the type of player you are, maybe that means it's not as versatile hitting certain shots, but to the average golfer, that's like a tremendous benefit on just being able to look at your target and try and hit it
straight,
not curve it too much.
Yeah, I mean, let's see if we can get a little bit of shape out of it if I wanted to, though, because that's kind of I feel like it's still an important thing to have that flexibility. There's a little draw here. That's so tight.
There's a nice
I like
little
that.
tight draw.
Yep.
So kind of in review, after you've hit enough shots with both of them, going from a tour iron to our, most forgiving, most distance package here in the new Apex line, your ball speed's 13 miles an hour faster, and your spin is 600 RPMs lower.
That's great.
You are hitting it higher, even though the spin's lower. It's just the sheer velocity is getting the ball to travel up into the air and get more lift.
Yeah.
And your carry increases 20 yards.
That's great.
Let's see what you get out of the AI 200. So now you're starting to get into a little bit smaller package. It doesn't have as much offset. It's not quite as large. It's not quite as wide on the sole. The 200 here has got about a degree more loft on each of the clubs. The lie angle is not quite as upright, so it's not as much of an anti-slice setup. Yeah, anti-slice, I guess is a better way to say that.
Very cool.
A little more to the right than the 300 as well, which is kind of what I've been noticing in the early goings of watching players try these out. It's kind of nice to have a player of your skill test irons like this. Typically, you're handing them to players that don't repeat their swing like you are. But I feel like someone like you really see the difference in the club design start to produce differences in the shot shapes, or the trajectories, or the distances.
Yeah, and it just goes to show how much farther these can actually go for anybody.
Okay, let's see what you think out of the Tie Fusion. So I think for the lower handicap crowd that is open to the idea of a distance iron, this is going to be a home run for that player segment. I think it's going to have a pretty broad appeal here with the Tie Fusion. It's the smallest of the 3, but it's not an iron that you would hand a higher handicapper and then they would hit it and say it's too hard to hit for them. So oftentimes as the heads get smaller, they're harder to hit. And what we've done to try and achieve an easier to hit iron in a small package is utilize titanium for the base. So less offset than the other 2, thinner top line, a little lower bounce angle. It's not necessarily a super narrow sole, but it has a little less bounce angle to it. So the cool thing about this iron, more loft, more spin, which is kind of the things that we would see appeal to the low handicap, or more spin for that matter, or I guess a low trajectory player would want more spin if they're focused on being able to stop the ball on the greens. Yeah. But it's not slower off the face. If we go to the tour iron, it's got a lot more loft, a lot more spin. There's some benefits to that too. The Fusion iron in your hands is is 149 miles, or 148 miles an hour, which is crazy.
It's going fast.
The 300 was 149, the 200 was 147, and again, the Tour iron, without any of the bells and whistles that these distance irons have for speed, a little under 140.
And these are just launching through the turf. I mean, that's
pretty sweet.
Not leaving the flag stick. That's super nice. It gets through nicely. It doesn't feel like it's going to pull if I stop it, because I think a tendency for a lot of better players when they have a three-quarter swing is to just pull it.
The cool thing too about that shot, that was significantly less speed, 10 miles an hour to hit that shorter shot. But the spin, again, we really are kind of hitting home on spin consistency with these irons. 6,900.
That's great.
So you take all that speed off, but maintain the spin, and then what ends up happening on the back end of your ball flight is the ball lands on the green with a lot of precision or control.
Yeah.
It's not going to bound off the back.
God, I could just work this ball all day long with this club. This is great.
The tie iron, where it's kind of fitting in after all those shots, a little bit more spin than the other two. A little less carry, but not significant. So that would be like 205 to 210 in the air instead of like 200 to 205.
Yeah. Okay, so overall impression with these clubs, starting off with the last one that I hit, the Tie Fusion, this is kind of what I would feel most similar to what I'm already playing in a tour iron, but it gives me the extra distance and the extra speed and the extra spin that I actually need if I'm gonna go into something like this. Something in a longer iron would be deadly. I'm loving the way this looks as well. Thinner top line, less bounce as it goes through the turf, which is super important. But anybody who's trying to gain more distance, even at my level, which I see all the time, people who literally need that one step to get them onto tour or onto some tour or onto a better status as an amateur, they need some extra distance. This is exactly the kind of thing that they would need. The 200, I think, is the most versatile club that I was able to hit. This one overall just gave me the way extra distance, so much more speed. And I think what was really unique about this is that it kind of had the versatility of hitting it really far and controlling that ball flight. So that was super nice with this club. It also doesn't quite sit as clunky as a big club would, but it gives you all of the benefits like the extra forgiveness, the extra speed, everything. So this was a great club for that. And then lastly, we had the 300, which is where we started with. Could not get this one slicing even if I tried to, and I think that's going to be a really important thing for anybody who hits it way off high to the right. That's going to bring you back to center really fast, this club right here. So today we went through the Tie Fusion, the AI 200 and 300 from the Callaway Apex lineup. Go get fit at a worldwide golf retail location near you, or go online and you can book a fitting at worldwidegolf.com.